Hello, everyone. Welcome to World Combat Sports. Hopefully, everyone is doing great tonight. Those of you that's in the midst of the COVID-19 shutdown still, prayers go out. Hopefully, everyone is doing great and, haven't been overcome or infected by the virus. Today is another chapter at World Combat Sports Media. I want to jump start it by speaking about champion Devin Haney once more, and hopefully for the last time for a long time for the wrong reason. You know what I'm saying? I want to touch bases on an article that was submitted via APBoxingscene.com, and Devin Haney has reflected upon his words, which only validates the media or anybody who was on here speaking about the poor judgment and how he shouldn't have used those type of words and how much of effect that it had on individuals that either support him, around him, or the words that was directed to. So for those of you that felt like it was nothing, it didn't mean too much, now you know. If Devin Haney felt the need to come back on here, speak about it, clear the water, you know what I'm saying, to make sure he's in the good graces when boxing jump starts again, because you know what, the fans are the ones that tune in and pay the bills. So therefore, if we was on here speaking about Devin Haney using poor judgment, then guess what? It wasn't ill will. It wasn't personal. It wasn't malice, any of that. It was just reporting. It was basically calling for what it was. It was just bad judgment on Devin Haney's part, even though boxing has serious amount of trash talk. But what you all need to understand, times has changed. Times have changed since Bernard Hopkins. I'm not saying the trash talk. I'm talking about getting away with it. Times have changed, people. You have to understand that. It don't matter, if I'm black media and Devin's a black fighter. I'm trying to help you all understand that his context of words was in poor judgment. I don't dislike Devin Haney. Like I said before, both him and his father, cool people. But you have to report both sides of the spectrum, no matter what race they are. Black media, in no way, shape, or form, in my perspective, is not going to be held to a standard where I got a whole sleight of hand when I'm reporting on fighters that are black. That's not the case. Report on fighters, report on media, and everything else that goes along with it. So if you don't like it, deal with it. To be honest, I don't care. Anybody who's seen my work, I pretty much try to dichotomize it and keep it as non-ex-parte as I possibly can. To the article cited from Boxing Scene, it speaks about Haney, once again tackling this situation, which is great. I salute you, Devin Haney, for coming back. It doesn't mean anything that you're surrendering, but it's just saying that you know what, maturity wise, you pretty much understand the severity of your words, and come back to the people, let them know, hey, I screwed up and I apologize for it. That's it. It's nothing wrong with apologies, man. He says, since then has come another decision. The article says, since then has come another decision, this time to walk back the comments altogether. That's Boxing Scene. Devin Haney said, over a couple days, I've had time to reflect on a lot. Haney revealed in public. In public statement on Tuesday. I sincerely regret using a term that I have now learned to be derogatory to many of my fans, friends, and associates. Derogatory is all we're talking about. It doesn't have anything to do with black people say amongst each other. If we say nigga, amongst one another, that has nothing to do with the statement. It has nothing to do with this statement. I'm not sure why I see so many people correlating that on the social media groups. What my understanding is when I'm speaking on it is the fact that you coupled or encompassed a group of people, which I understand if white people want to look at it as being racist. I totally get it. I totally get on their side of the viewing eye, the listening ear. They can see this as saying, you know what, that's fucked up. And a lot of people are up here. They were saying, you know what, I'm not going to support Devin Haney no more. And I know it's kind of, we can say it's impulsive thinking, right? It's boxing. And I always look at it like what Devin Haney said, it was severe when it comes to, what we're dealing with on a daily basis, especially black people dealing with racism, which still exists today. But on the part of, we've seen worse in boxing, but we don't want to dilute everything that's fucked up and say, well, we don't see worse in boxing and don't talk about it. I just think when you couple Europeans, white people in a statement, especially in contact sports, it makes you seem like you are extremely biased, prejudiced, or even weighing on the deeper side or, promoting racism. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not going back on what I said. I don't think Devin Haney was being racist. I just think in the moment, responding to the comment, he was basically trying to hype himself. And when I was looking at it, right, I was putting things together. I was putting the puzzle pieces together because his screen name was Black Jesus 777. Which this article goes on to reflect upon the possibility of why that was the case. It was a comment on the live stream at the time, hosted by 78 Sports, right? TV. And it says, salute to 78, Devin and Bill Haney. And they read the pinned comment. I hope you end the hype of Lomo so I can rip BFF TV, Black Fight Fan TV, all day long. Keep grinding, Devin. Greatness is coming from you. BFF TV, Black Fight Fan TV, refers to Lomachenko as White Jesus. It said, Trill Boxing Talk YouTube channel, Black Fight Fan is admitted Lomachenko fan, often referring to him as White Jesus, and who has drawn playful ear from his followers over the instance that the Ukrainian southpaw runs the table at lightweight. And calling him White Jesus, I mean, it is what it is. Most of the depiction in religion is depicted as White Jesus. I find that as light banter, when it comes to alias that boxers have and everything. So I can understand the caveat, the response, the reaction from Devin Haney doing the video, which he's been doing, which he's been participating and supporting, live streams with that particular segue. For him to put Black Jesus 777 up there, I thought that was slick. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was slick. His IG is Lord Devin Haney. So, even from Lord to Black Jesus, I don't have no problem with Black Jesus 777. That's his stream name, cool. But I think it was in response to BFF TV calling or referring to Lomachenko as White Jesus, which once again, I feel that's light. It's just boxing alias talk. But what I would like to see if black media is going to be in the forefront, especially on a news outlet or a segue like boxing scene, I would truly advocate for it to be in a positive note, in a positive halo, rather than reflecting upon Devin Haney's comment on a particular streaming that dealt with this particular black segue. And this is not the last time any one of us is going to report on a controversy such as this. I'm just saying I would have rather those two individuals be highlighted, for their work, because they do good work, man. You know, they own all the time. They cover a lot of fighters or what have you. But when it comes to what Devin Haney said, response to a pinned comment and everything else that goes along with it, it reflects badly. That's all. It reflects badly. It'll be great if, you know, media can be on the forefront, on the front lines of these mainstream segues in a good nature. You know what I'm saying? It'll serve us good justice. You know, the quality will be there. And also the exposure will be respected from the viewing fans. You feel me? So they go on to say Haney was in hot pursuit of a showdown with Lomachenko for much of 2019, even fighting for an interim version of the WBC lightweight strap. Lomachenko 14-1, 10 KO, secured in a 12-round win over England's Luke Campbell. Last August, Haney collected the interim belt 2 weeks later, scored a one-sided fourth-round stoppage over previously unbeaten Abulayev. Hopes of securing the mandatory title fight instead led to an upgrade after Lomachenko, at the request of Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum, supposedly, you know, requested a franchise championship belt. The distinction allows the claimant to retain recognition as a champion without the restriction of mandatory challenges. This particular portion is speaking about one of the benefits of being franchise champion. You don't have to face mandatories and you can't lose the belt. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of the benefits. So a lot of people are saying that Lomachenko requested it, but on Boxing Scene, they're saying Bob Arum requested it. I'm just going to touch on the last part of the article. It says, I have learned, this is Devin Haney, I have learned a valuable lesson. I will continue to show the kind of person that I really am and will continue my quest for greatness inside and outside the ring. You have to respect that, man. Yeah, I mean, you have to respect him coming back and dropping another, you know, sincere apology, because he's in a sport where the fans support him. So he wants as much money as possible when he make that fight. You know what I'm saying? He wants that support. We already know, we already seen how difficult it is for certain fighters to get that support. It's a lot of black fighters in boxing, a lot of Mexican fighters, you know, and you don't want to be walking to the ring and people booing you for no damn reason outside of what your performances is and what your standards are in the ring. You know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody booing you for words you said out. Some fighters don't give a damn about that shit. Some fighters do. You know what I'm saying? Some people some fighters love to be booed, especially if they're getting the money. And some fighters hate being booed, opposite of getting the big checks. Alex, y'all in the building. Salute to you, man. He said, I will never let a midget beat me. Man, I'm not going to get on the little people. You know, I pretty much try to clean it up myself, you know, referring to them as midgets, but, you know, just give them the benefit of the doubt of being little people. Yeah, that's what I had to say about that, man, when it comes down to Devin Haney. Salute to you for the rebound and everything. But next time, definitely don't get caught up in the moment. A lot of trash talk this day and time, it can go a whole lot of ways there, Devin Haney. But when you include race into it, it can go bad real quick, because that's where we at right now. That's where we at. I mean, it's a lot of things you can say about black and white and the other, but when you circle it up all together, you're going to piss off a lot of people that may support you. And you really don't want that money going to somebody they don't support, all because of something what you just said. Now, granted, we do have the freedom of speech, and you can talk your shit whenever you feel like it. You know what I'm saying? But just understand what the narrative should be, the perception of it, and, you know, how much of an impact would it have to the listeners? That's all I'm saying. So we nailed that down to the bed. I'm not sure what you all, if you looked on my page, World Combat Sports Facebook page, I'm not. But it's a pound for pound quadrant that came out. You had the Ring magazine. Let me try to pull it up. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. So they had the Ring pound for pound list, transitional boxing rankings, the BWAA, Boxing Writers Association of America rankings, and BoxRec. The stepchild out of the four, of course, was BoxRec. It was just seriously influenced, as if the person who wrote it was basically under the influence and heavily, extremely. I don't know what's going on. Like, did they have whereabouts? Did they have an understanding of what they was putting in the BoxRec pound for pound? I don't know, but I know BoxRec may do the numbers game and how they calculate all this. But anyway, let's get back to the Ring pound for pound, transitional boxing rankings pound for pound. They kind of link up very well. The Ring, as I said before, you have Canelo, Lomachenko, Inoue, Crawford, Usyk. Okay, let me start over. Number 1, Canelo. 2, Lomachenko. 3, Inoue. 4, Crawford. 5, Usyk. 6, Spence. 7, Golovkin. 8, Juan Estrada. And 9, Arthur Beterbiev. And 10, Manny Pacquiao. Now, the transitional boxing rankings is somewhat similar. There's a couple of placeholders on here. Minimal changes, but number 1 is Canelo. 2, Inoue. 3, Lomachenko. 4, Crawford. Crawford is a placeholder. Ring magazine and transitional boxing rankings both have Crawford ranked number 4. Number 5, placeholder. Usyk, Ring, and transitional boxing rankings ranked 5th. 6, Fury. 7, Golovkin. 8, Juan Estrada. 9, Spence. 10, Pacquiao. Now for the BWAA. Number 1, they have Canelo. 2, Lomachenko. 2, Crawford. 4, Inoue. 5, Spence. 6, Usyk. 7, Golovkin. 8, Fury. 9, Pacquiao. And 10, Juan Estrada. Now for the BoxRec, which I said there was a stepchild out of the 4. Number 1, they have Canelo. 2, Fury. 3, Spence. 4, Golovkin. 5, Wilder. 6, Crawford. 7, Pacquiao. 8, Joshua. 9, Lomachenko. 10, Kovalev. So what I can see right here as far as heavyweights goes, you're looking at Kovalev, Joshua. I ain't talking about heavyweight, just heavyweight. I'm talking about light heavyweight too. They have Kovalev, Joshua, Wilder, and Fury. How recent this is, whatever. I can't put too much emphasis into this. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko sitting at 9, Fury at 2, right behind Canelo. I'm not sure how that's the case. Really. I really can't see how Fury. Okay, I'm not even really going to touch on BoxRec. That's out of the question. Let's get back to the Ring and transition boxing rankings and BWAA rankings. Canelo across the board is who I said that was my pound for pound. Now, I know a lot of media I'm listening to, and I don't mean to be critical, but if you continue And I have nothing against Terrence Crawford being in the pound for pound rankings. But if you continue to ignore or jettison the fact that Canelo isn't the pound for pound king right now, you're being biased, point blank. I hear too many people, man, continue to want to say Crawford's number one pound for pound. Crawford's number one pound for pound. If I'm looking at what Canelo has did in his last several outings, vice Crawford, I have to go with Canelo, point blank. You all have to recognize that. You have to be true to yourselves that Canelo is pound for pound number one. He's the best out there right now. Seriously. He is the best doing it right now, man. The man moved up to 168 and then 175, man. You got to show that man some love. And then number two, in my opinion, is Terrence Crawford. Period. You can't sit up here and negate his undisputed division, 3-division champion. And you can't sit up here and just say, well, what has he done for me lately? The inconsistency of a pound for pound list is always going to be that, okay? But we cannot sit up here and say Terrence Crawford shouldn't be above Vasily Lomachenko. Yes. Even more so, seeing that Vasily Lomachenko vacated the super title and took ownership of the franchise belt. Seriously. That basically extracted some very valuable points from Lomachenko. Number three, in my opinion, pound for pound, they have a Norway. Okay, a Norway, he's also a 3-division champion. Currently unified at bantamweight right now. I think it's 19-0, 16 knockouts. He just finished that tough bout with Nonito Donaire, right? Monsters, they call him. Ring Magazine has him sitting at 3. All right. Lomachenko and the Norway are 3-division champions. Both have unified a division. I get it. The Norway is a bit more experienced than Lomachenko, not as popular as Lomachenko, but you have to understand, like, a lot of people was basically putting a Norway up there as being this heavy hitter, can't be stopped, power puncher, and he was going to be the next big thing on the pound for pound list. And that's why they have him up here. He's undefeated and comparable to his resumes. You know, some people may put his resumes and what he's been able to accomplish above that as a Lomachenko. You know, he doesn't have that one loss like Lomachenko. We're not talking about amateur pedigree. We're just talking about professional ranks. So the Ring Magazine has a Norway at 3. Lomachenko is number 3 at the transitional boxing rankings, where they have in Norway is number 2. And of course, it gets a little fuzzy with Lomachenko, Crawford, and so forth. But just sticking with the Ring and the transitional boxing rankings, the Ring has him at number 3. I think that's fair to say if Crawford was number 2. Number 4 for the Ring is Crawford is number 4, right? Number 4 ranking is Crawford. Also, Crawford is number 4 for the transition boxing rankings, which I already made my statement. I believe Crawford should be number 2, pound for pound. Lion Killer, what's good, man? Salute to you. Thanks for dropping in. Crawford, number 4. I just don't understand that at all. I truly believe Crawford should be number 2. That's just my opinion. And once again, I would give him the undisputed division. I'm looking at Naoya Norway. He was a light flyweight champion and a flyweight champion and currently unified bantamweight champion. I think he held the WBC at light fly and the WBO at fly. So he's respected. Lighter weights don't get that much love because people don't pay attention to him. But still, he's a 3-division champion, just like Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner is a 4-division champion, but people tend to think that's just going to blow away because of his outside activities. That don't have shit to do with anything. Adrian Broner's a 4 division champion. No matter how you slice it, you don't have to give him any more credit. The man is a 4 division champion. So if you're going to criticize Adrian Broner, his divisions, you got to criticize Norway. You got to criticize Casemiro. You have to criticize a lot of other people that's 3 division champions in the lighter classes. Number 5 is Usyk in the ring pound for pound list, on the ring pound for pound list, right? Usyk is also number 5 in the transition boxing rankings. Usyk, former cruiserweight undisputed. I get it. You know, stepped up to heavyweight, defeated Chase Witherspoon. Okay, nothing special until he stepped in there with a top tier ranking name in his division, which is now heavyweight. And let's see how he looks. That's all we can say about that. Next on the ring pound for pound is Spence. Spence at one point in time was pretty high. You know, he was up there in the top 5. But, you know, they kind of de-elevated him a bit since the accident. But damn, you look back at boxing, he really never missed a lot of boxing to begin with because we're in the COVID-19 lockdown. So if you look at him mixing boxing, he didn't miss that much. He said he was going to return around April or May. You know what I'm saying? So just because other people has joined different divisions, I don't know why Spence can continue to descend on the pound for pound list. And he just came off that phenomenal bout with Showtime Sean Porter to unify the welterweight division. So I really don't know why he's outside behind Usyk. I don't understand why that's the case. But next door in the transitional boxing rankings, they have Fury as number 6. You know, all of a sudden, you know, they want to push Fury to be in the top pound for pound list. But when Wilder was freaking WBC champion, you never saw him on the pound for pound list. And that's a whole nother story of why you don't see too many heavyweights up here until Fury. You know what I'm saying? Not even Joshua. You know, even though Joshua lost his titles when he had the unified titles, they didn't consider him for pound. That's real talk. 7 on the ring pound for pound is Golovkin. I think that's just nonsense, gibberish. Even though he has the IBF middleweight and IBO middleweight title, he shouldn't be on this list at all, man. We all know he was defeated by Sergey Derevyanchenko. It wasn't no Floyd Mayweather, Julio Castillo fight. No, it wasn't that type of deal. He lost. So in the transition boxing rankings, they have Golovkin 7, both placeholders. And I don't even know why, man. I don't know why they still have this guy relevant. People still holding on to Gennady Golovkin like he's still out there fighting Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? Those days are over. 8, Juan Estrada is another placeholder. You know, Juan Estrada is 8 on both the ring and transitional boxing. And then 9, they have Arthur Beterbiev in the ring, pound for pound, who's 15 wins, 0 defeats, and 15 knockouts. He's a solid fighter, but not too many people know who he is if they just a casual boxing fan. So across from him on the transition boxing rankings is Spence. They have Spence at 9. I mean, if Spence came off unifying the welterweight division, right? How can he be so far down the listing? Like, how can he be below Golovkin? That's no consistency. The criteria is seriously fragmented. Like, where's the format? Where's the basis to this criteria on the pound for pound list? It's almost comedic. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have Spence at number 9 next to Pacquiao. Come on, man. And then, of course, number 10, since he picked up the WBA super title, you have Manny Pacquiao. You know, Manny Pacquiao is holding strong at number 10 on both the ring and transitional boxing rankings. He is the current WBA welterweight title holder. So it's a lot of inconsistencies on this list. I believe Golovkin should be removed, if anything. And if you're going to have anybody on there, I would just say, if you're going to throw Fury on the pound for pound list, all of a sudden do it. But get Golovkin off that list. He doesn't really deserve to be there right now. What's going on? Josh Talks UFC. What's good with you? That's what I feel about the pound for pound list, man. I believe Canelo is number one, and Terrence Bud Crawford is number two, and number three, in my opinion, could be Lomachenko or Norway. They both 3 division champions. To be honest, they're both 3 division champions. You look at performance-wise, a lot of people was getting behind in Norway. And just because he went the distance with Nonito, I'm like, people just tripping right now. People like, oh, let me back up a little bit. He might not be as good as we think. Man, boxers are going to have tough fights, y'all. Y'all got to just relax. Boxers aren't going to go in here perform perfect all the time. So y'all can say, well, they haven't fought nobody equal to greater than their skill set. So, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to give them their credit. We don't want to validate them just yet. We're not willing to co-sign them as being the best. But, number 3 in Norway, Lomachenko can be at number 3, And, I'm not going to get in the rest. But, yeah, top 3, that's how I see it, period. I just think the list in itself is, like I put on there, a disaster piece. BoxRec is a disaster. I don't know where that comes from. But number 1, respectfully, Canelo, absolutely. Saul Canelo Alvarez, 53-1, I believe. He's absolutely number 1 pound for pound right now. And a close second, in my opinion, is Terrence Crawford. I know a lot of people want to put Errol Spence above Terrence Crawford just because they're enamored with either side of the fighters. But Terrence Crawford's career exceeds that of Errol Spence right now. You just can't say just because he unified the titles in the welterweight division, you're going to exclude Terrence Crawford's 3 division championship, him stepping up to the welterweight division for a title. You know what I'm saying? And winning the title. You have to give him his credit. Well, you don't have to give him anything. I'm just putting it out there. Hey, for those of you that's in the building, appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. And my last topic, combat sports and dire straits. What I'm hearing right now, which is in disbelief for me, right, is that, due to the COVID-19, combat sports has been shut down. We already understand that. Bruh. Hey. No, man.
Do it on live, so.
And I apologize for that. Kids up here tripping. They got too much freaking time on their hands, man. They should be in school right now. These kids, goddamn, they ain't doing shit at home, man. And then they still get up like they paying bills just because they doing something. Up here making noise while I'm on live tomorrow night. You told me to do it. I understand the initiative, but wrong timing, bro. But as I was saying about the COVID-19, man, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not. Look, Governor Kemp is lifting restrictions down here in COVID-19, man. And unfortunately, I'm telling you, it might be a serious situation. I'm not sure why we're the first guinea pig for this to happen. I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna do. You have so many people down here willing to try to get things back to normal so quickly, it's gonna hurt. It's like turning the corner on a bicycle with the kickstand down. Real talk. That's what it seems like with this COVID-19, man, being lifted. Governor Kemp came back and saying he's going to lift restrictions and allow barbershops, salons, small businesses, and everything else to start, turning the wheels and getting the engines running and getting back and back into the economy and everything, right? And a lot of things can be said about it. It can be in part, unemployment. They want to say that, we're basically up and running and jumpstarting the economy. It could be many other situations, that deals with the economy. But what they're not telling you is that, like I said yesterday, I told you this yesterday. I said the radio stations down here are saying that you have a low risk of contracting COVID-19 in the US. Who in the heck passed that word? Like, we was just low on ventilators, right? We was just low on this shit. And all of a sudden we good. We straight. We don't have no other freaking worries about these ventilators. We are absolutely good. And they're talking about opening up Atlanta, Georgia, because it's a lot of businesses down here in what they call Black Hollywood that people are making phone calls and they really want to get this economy back up and going. But I believe it's a little bit too early for that. And for Governor Kemp to come out with it, man, I think it's a bad idea. Look, and what's worse is we've been having people gathering when they're not supposed to. So that shows me that if you have some type of fear about COVID-19, you have any type of fear, right? Why don't you be more respectful to assisting the issue instead of contributing to it? Because if we're going out here and we really don't know what the fuck is going on with it, where's it at? Do anybody know where it's at right now? Do anyone have the numbers? No, you don't have the numbers, because the hospitals are not submitting the numbers out to the public no more. They probably have a protocol that's going on. Hospitals, the patients is coming in, don't really submit the numbers to the media or whatever. Just submit them here. When you want the public to believe something, all you got to do is extract it from the media. Just like China. You haven't heard too much of anything from China. But just several weeks ago, China was the main headlines. Now that shit is all but absolved. And now the US is doing the exact same thing. And we haven't really said that we have a cure. We have test kits out here. We have everything to say that we have this under control. None of that shit. But we're about to open up down here in Atlanta. Pray for us. I don't agree with it. I'm going to tell you, people down here, y'all shouldn't be so quick to run back out here, man. Just because they open up the economy and thinking everything is all clear. All clear? I don't think it's all clear yet. It's no way we can be all clear right now, bruh. So y'all pray for the ATL, man. How the hell are we going to be an experimental footprint? How in the hell we are the experiment footprint now here in Atlanta? I don't see how that's the case. Real talk. I just don't see how that's smart. I don't see how it's logical. And where's the numbers that validate that the COVID-19 is under control right now? I don't see it. I haven't read about it or anything. So to the combat sports being in dire straits, this is what I see. Being that certain regional footprints are opening their doors, lifting restrictions a little bit, right? It's not going to work out for combat sports in a way because they're still placing restrictions and fights are being canceled. So with the fights being canceled, but you allow football, soccer, and everything, in certain areas to start back practicing. How is that the case? And now you have more and more voices speaking up for combat sports to say, you know what, combat sports, it isn't safe during COVID-19. It isn't safe. It isn't safe. Which you had Thug Rose Namajunas pull out and then Amanda Nunes, right? Now you have Frank Trigg, who's saying, giving his side that it's not safe to compete during COVID-19. So we just had the situation happen with Dana White, the last man standing. You know what I'm saying? Leonidas. He basically made an announcement saying the next 4 cards are canceled. But yet in one statement, he said the cards are canceled. And then people will continue to believe that a card is going to happen next month. Combat sports is not going to be up and running in May. If you don't know, I'm trying to explain to you. These fighters in boxing and MMA, they have to have a fight camp. And just because restrictions are lifted, let's say right now, it's not ample amount of time for these fighters to get back in fight camp and train, get back in shape in order to be on weight and to fight, especially if they're a champion. They just can't go out here and put themselves in jeopardy of losing a title or taking an L on their record. So it has to be time. Josh said UFC is happening, I believe, May 9th. I don't think so, bro. Josh said fighters are starting to sign contracts for this event. The UFC have booked Florida and have gotten the permission to hold this event. And they're going to fly the fighters into Jacksonville. I'll believe it when I see it. I've been reading, different media slots about this particular event. I don't know if Florida's going to be able to pull this off. I don't think so, but we'll see. It's right around the corner. Is there a low risk of catching the virus? That just sounds plain stupid. That's basically what they're saying about COVID-19 right now. In order for them to get the viewing public to believe that they're at low risk, what better way to do it than to voice it over the intercom, over the mic, over the radios, the networks, and tell people they're at low risk. But when you have full contact sports and you have gatherings of any sort, when it comes down to it, guess what? That's a problem. That's a problem for fighters. That's a problem for athletes. That's a problem for fighters. The reason why it's a problem because we really don't have control over the virus just yet. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people that wants to go out and earn that check and make a living. But then you have some that's truly not confident and believing that COVID-19 does have a cure. You know what I'm saying? It is treatable, right? We don't have a panacea right now, but it is treatable. But the fucked up thing about it, we don't know where the test kits are at. We don't know where anything's at. Like where the test kits, where's all the resources for people to get treated if this goes down? Where is it? Where can we access it? Where can we get it? That's the whole problem that we got right now. Where are the test kits? Where can fighters be assured that if they catch the virus, they can get treated? I think with deaths and people recovering, people are going to lean more heavy on the death side of it, not understanding that, athletes, right? It's just a little bit shaky because you've had people that's in good shape die from the COVID-19. That's the sketchy part about the belief system. People up here like, damn, I want to believe that COVID-19 is low risk, but damn, every time you turn around, you have someone being reported that was in pretty good health that passed away from the COVID-19. That's why you have skepticism of fighters willing to jump back in the ring or the cage to say, yeah, this is what I want to do. Very confusing the stuff around the event right now. The UFC needs to come out and tell the fans what's going on. You know, I'm definitely not going to co-sign for the May 9th event. I have my sources close to the UFC, and I'm definitely not going to report on here and saying it's going to happen just for fun. You know, it's a lot that has to go in to anything that Dana White is planning on hosting, especially if it's down in another state or whatever the case. It's a lot of prerequisites that has to happen for Dana White to make that fight happen. A lot. It's so many prerequisites. You have to get the confidence of the fighters not to pull out at the last minute. Once they get down there, they're going to have discipline and stay confined to their quarters. They have to remain tested. You have to make sure their food is good to go. I know Justin Gaethje and most fighters on the card are still training hard. I seen Gaethje was training with Usman earlier. Okay. You know, they're the main event, so they have to be on weight. And we know Tony Ferguson is going to be on weight. We're going to know Justin Gaethje. But my entire concern with this is it actually going down. Like, even though we have, like, once again, we have governors that's lifting the restrictions at the end of the month. We still don't have the all clear. Dundada in the building. Salute to you, man. What's good? You know, we still don't have the all clear across the board, man. So just say, for instance, just like the WWE had one staff member catch COVID, and they have no audience. They have minimal staff, skeleton crew, and they had one personnel catch COVID-19. So what happens with all these people that's going down there, if by chance they're going for this fight for the UFC, and someone catch COVID-19? You think they're not going to shut? They're going to, you know what? Dana White already canceled events, right? So I'm not sure why the media is putting out, okay, the fight's going to happen. Then on the other side, he's canceled 4 events. I don't see it going on. You know, it's too much of a risk. My sister knew someone who was in their early 50s who died. Yeah, we see people, man, passing away, man, in pretty good health, y'all. Dundada say, where are the test kits? You know, that's my question too. You know, where are the test kits? Seriously. Where are the test kits, and where can we access them? You know, where can we purchase them? Where can they be sourced? We still don't know. So videos are coming out now from people who are actually on the front line in the hospitals, and they're basically saying it's a joke. Anybody who come in there with a respiratory problem, cold, they being diagnosed with COVID-19 when they don't have it. You know what I'm saying? All these shortage of ventilators. It's a guy who did an extensive video and showed a room full of ventilators that's not even being used. You know, so he's saying, you know, how can we be short on ventilators when we're not using them? We're not using them. They're basically saying this person comes in with a cold or any type of breathing problems, they want to diagnose them COVID-19 without even being tested. Without even being tested, y'all. How is that integrity, media integrity, man? It affects everyone. People need to start waking up. Some of the media that's spreading these lies are terrible. Hey, man, you can't believe everything you read, man. Especially this card that's popping off next month. I just wish Vegas let the UFC use their performance center. That would make things a bit easier. It would, but I have to salute Vegas for standing strong and keeping low numbers of COVID-19 outbreaks. You know, their numbers are pretty steady and they have been under the radar, man. We're talking about a place that has foot traffic damn near like NYC. It just don't have, you know, the terminals and the rails and everything else. It's just, you know, it has foot traffic. It's busy, but they've been pretty out of sight, out of mind, man. So I'm pretty sure they're going to keep it that way. And Dana's not going to be able to do anything about it. We just have to wait till it all comes to the surface and more footprints, regional footprints start opening their gates. This is crazy time we're living in. Just hope we're back to normal life or somewhat normal life this year. To be honest, I just don't know if we're going to be back to normality this year. I truly don't see that happening. I think it's going to be crucial. It's going to be, it's going to have a lot of people drowning, man. Unfortunately, it's going to be bad, especially for combat sports, man. These fighters get paid when they actually go into combat, when they actually work. So them not being paid is no other way that they say they can be compensated right now. They don't have a way to be compensated, y'all, unless they have some sponsors that are looking out seriously for them and keeping them afloat. But you have to understand, UFC has like 500 fighters. The UFC has like 500 fighters. We're not even talking about Bellator. Look, the PFL, I told you yesterday, PFL canceled the entire 2020 season. The entire thing. The PFL say no. Done. Done. Period. And now they're talking about the NCAA, you know, may regret canceling their whole entire season or whatever. But I think right now, you know, due to the circumstance, I think they made a very solid call. It was a good command decision on the NCAA to cancel their, you know, season and everything. Just because a couple of regions, states are opening up and lifting bans, that doesn't mean we're in the all clear, man. I just don't know why Atlanta have to be the test bed. We have to become ground zero to release the restrictions and allow the engines to start running and bumping back the economy again down here. Now, I know it's a lot of businesses down here. I get it. But I just hope it doesn't turn into Armageddon down this. I just hope not. I just hope it's not too early and we don't see ourselves being in the Armageddon, man. Seriously. I just hope this decision that Governor Kemp just made doesn't implode to something much more severe. Did you see the PFL cancel their yearly show and they're paying athletes monthly so they can survive? Very good by them. Yeah, one thing the PFL is able to do in that particular case is because they don't have as many employees or contractors, so to speak, which are the fighters on their roster. So if they can pay them, the PFL has a tournament style. So you're going to have less fighters on your roster because it's a tournament style. The UFC is an open class organization, which they have around 500. I'm not sure the total count, but they have several hundred fighters to their roster. The PFL is tournament style, so they have less contractors on deck, man. Less fighters on deck. That's real. Lumber's in the house. What's good, man? He said one thing that is overlooked, if they are comparing active boxers, Pac-Man should be on the list, or do they look at him as pastime? I mean, Pacquiao is definitely not pastime because he holds a super title there, Lumbers. He holds that super title, so he's not out the gate. You know, he's not out the pasture just yet. Heavyweights should be on the pound for pound if the resume and everything, you know, if it's hard to base a certain criteria on placing fighters on the heavyweight division. I mean, fighters on the pound for pound list, period. because the inconsistency is just fragmented throughout the entire pound for pound list. A lot of it is popularity. A lot of it is divisions, but then you have people with single divisions that's on the pound for pound list. What have you done for me lately type deal. It all depends, man. I see what you were saying right now. My apologies, you covered it. That's all I'm saying. The pound for pound list is definitely, it lacks standard format to who should be on the top pound for pound list. They still have favoritism towards Gennady Golovkin. They had favoritism towards Lomachenko for quite some time until Canelo was like, I'm doing more and I'm going up here winning titles. I'm moving up in weight, 2 divisions. You know what I'm saying? And you have no other means except to identify and recognize him as top pound for pound list because he was successful at what he did. Not only was he successful, he stopped them both. He stopped Rocky Fielding and he stopped Sergey Kovalev. Fielding in 3 and Kovalev in 11. You got to show him love, man. But all these governments must know something the people don't, because why would they open everything up again and risk spreading it? Well, it's all about money and getting business and running. It's definitely about the economy, man. I mean, no doubt about it. It's definitely about the economy. So that question you asked, that's rhetorical. The GV knows absolutely everything that we don't, and they're making decisions behind closed doors, and we can't do anything about it. So of course the governors are talking. Of course, the politicians are talking in the White House and everybody. Of course. Hell yeah, they talking. Hell yeah. Look, when I was starting these lives earlier, when COVID-19 just hit, I was like comparing it. I say, you know what? When we sign up for the military, you sign up knowing that your life is at risk, and that's the sacrifice you make. And then I kind of looked at it like, with the COVID-19, certain people believe that it's the same. It's a do or die situation. If they got to feed their family, then so be it. They got to go out here and work. And if they catch it, they catch it. I totally understand where they're coming from, their mentality, because a lot of these people are absolutely broke and they have to go work for their family. So some people really don't take this deeply as they should, as being scared to go out here in society and work during the COVID-19. They said, I got to do what I got to do. I got to go get this bread. I got to get this money. I got to feed my family. I get it, man. I respect it, all of that. So I'm thinking right now, what you just said is the fact that you have general public that's not really making sacrifices like I just mentioned. They're not going back out into the public to basically protest work. They're just going for leisure and recreation. They go out there every time the sun pop up. They want to show up at the state park. They want to go down to the river. They want to go talk. And everybody has a conversation right now. You know what that conversation is? COVID-19 lockdown. Hey, what you been doing? Oh man, we played Jenga. We played Uno. We really learned some new things. I learned some new recipes. We painted the entire house. People just going over general conversations. That's it. So the narrative is once they step out and you have these huge gatherings of people, the banter is the same across the board. We had to get out the house. We had to get out the house. And I know why we're protesting. I know why we're protesting, because people are in need of work. That stimulus check has come, thank God, but it's not enough to do too much of anything, because people have bills to pay that's much more higher than a stimulus check for those who have received it. That's real talk. It's much higher than that. L File player in the building. Salute, man. Thanks for dropping in, bro. Here in the UK, we're going to be on lockdown for another 3 weeks. They extended it. We have been in lockdown for nearly 5 weeks here. And I think it's beneficial, man, when it comes to health. You know, they always mention the WHO over here all the time, World Health Organization. But you know, you can mention WHO and the CDC all you want. But when you have citizens protesting for the governor to lift the bans that are currently there as preventative measures from contributing to the outbreak, you have issues. You got problems. You have people that's unwilling to sit still anymore. You have people that are in desperate need of finances, and we're not really getting that, excuse me, from the GV right now. A stimulus check isn't going to do it. If that second one come out, where they're going to pay $2,000 a month and allow people reprieve on monthly mortgage for 12 months, then that will get people back into a mode like, okay, cool. I can live a little bit. I can support my family a little bit better, knowing that I'm getting this money. You know what I'm saying? But when you have people desperately trying to support their babies, family, they got to go out there and protest, man. Because not everybody can sit at home and relax and chill and be on live and feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can do that, man. Not everybody can do it, bro. But shout out to the UK, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the UK. And Josh, hey, can you do me a big favor, bro? Can you do me a big favor? Seriously. I'm not sure what your schedule is like, right? You there, Josh? You still there, man? I need you to do me a big favor, man. I just wait till you drop a comment. And, you know, once again, those of you, thanks for tuning in to World Combat Sports Media. Truly appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up button. If you want to donate to the channel, please do so. It's always appreciated. But Josh, you still there? Let me know you're still in the building, man. I want to ask you a big favor, man. But I need to confirm that you're still in the building. While I wait for Josh to drop a comment, I really miss combat sports. I'm not gonna lie, because most of my work was in the field anyway. I wasn't online like this. I was actually on deck. I was in the field. I was supporting regional cards and going to the fights at the higher tier. That's what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, coming on here in social media, you know, talking about the sports and everything is cool, but I really like being on the ground, you know, boots on the ground. But Josh, can you do me a favor, since you're in the UK? If you see Anthony Joshua, can you tell him to, you know, understand that it's time for him to shut the fuck up? Stop calling people a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Joshua should stop calling people a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Joshua. Don't all of a sudden come a trash talker, man. Just relax. You got your belts back. You don't have to face Pulev right now because of the shutdown. Be happy. You know what I'm saying? Be happy. Enjoy the time off. So when you come back, you face Kubrat Pulev. Hopefully you get past that. And then you'll be able to fight whoever, you know, is next for you. But don't be calling your compeers that's in your division bitches, bro. Like, come on. What's up with these people calling these other fighters, especially Joshua Ball people now? The excuse maker himself, that I would never let him live it down as being the biggest ducker in boxing. They used to talk about, oh, Danny Garcia is the cherry picker. No, Anthony Joshua is the biggest ducker in boxing, man. Real talk. Protect it. He's the biggest ducker in boxing, man. So, you know, just pass that word. If you see him at the local pub, you know, at the Whole Foods store, just walking on the street or whatever, tell Anthony Joshua, just shh. He gonna get his turn again. He's gonna get his turn again. Just relax. He said, we all miss the sports life is boring right now, but we'll make it through this and we'll get awesome fights. Hopefully at the end of the year, everyone stay safe. Yeah, we can hope. We can hope. You know what I'm saying? We can hope that everything clears up soon. But it's looking grim right now, man. It's looking grim. It's looking dark. You know, it's just looking bad, man, because you have combat sports, mixed martial arts, combat sports is canceling the entire rest of the year, the entire 2020. So what does that say for boxing? Boxing doesn't really play by the rules of mixed martial arts anyway. You know what I'm saying? And boxing has much more of a larger platform of areas they can start, resuming boxing. It just have to go with the state commission and everybody getting on board to make this happen. But I believe right now, the restraint is definitely going to come from the top. That's why I'm pretty skeptical about the UFC throwing this fight next month. I'm just skeptical. I'm just very skeptical about that fight card going down, man. It's just so much bullshit that's out there on the media. People saying one sentence, oh, the shit's going to happen. And then the next, no, it's not going to happen. They cancel 4 fights. I can tell you one thing that's going on with Dana White. I can tell you one thing he's doing. He's basically trying to keep people, and those people are the fans, the media, and everybody else. He's trying to keep them off guard. He's trying to keep them uninformed. The reason why Dana White is doing this, he doesn't want a mass of people showing up to the particular location where the fight is going to be. He said it. He said it several times. He doesn't want any type of extra unwanted energy to his fight card because fans are not going to be able to get into the card. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's trying to just put false narratives out there, bait, clickbait, to throw people off, so they can be traveling everywhere, all over the place, so they won't be nowhere in the area when these fighters arrive. I believe that's what Dana White is doing. He's definitely trying to be a magician right now. He's trying to be the mixed martial arts David Blaine. Dana White's trying to be the mixed martial arts David Blaine. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to do street magic and keep us uninformed out here. That's why 1 minute the fight cards are canceled, and then the next minute the fighters are training and shit, and plans are being made for this fight to be thrown at this particular location. Believe me when I tell you, people, and people I'm talking to behind the scenes, man, there's a lot that goes into this card happening next month. And no, it's not anything for certain. It sounds good, but don't get your hopes up, people. Josh said, I've seen Bellator cancel their June card as well. It's looking terrible for combat sports right now. I can tell you what Bellator isn't trying to basically clean the slate for the entire 2020 season. They're not trying to, Scott Coker is not trying to lose all that money, people. Scott Coker is like, no, man, I want to stay in the fight. I want to stay in the fight, man. I want to make sure the battle stations are partially manned. You know what I'm saying? We have minimal crew. You know what I'm saying? We have the assistant gunner and the primary gunner. We want to make sure we still have people behind the weapons. So when it's time to jumpstart, we let the fighters know, hey, you have this amount of time to get back in training camp. But once again, Scott Coker, Dana White, they're going to have to have some way for these fighters to train if they don't have a location. He's going to have to provide somehow, some way. They're going to have to provide because gyms are still closed, man. If those fighters are in a location where they haven't lifted the restrictions yet by the end of the month, where are they going to train at? Where are these fighters training? You think they're going to train in the same location? No, you have to at least have the A and B side. Like boxing. We're not talking about boxing, fighters training in 2 different locations. I'm just saying how they separate the fight cards. You have the A and B side. They need to have two different facilities where the B side fighters are going to be and the A side fighters are going to be, and train, man. That's the difficult part. People are not paying attention to that. These fighters need a place to train. You just can't say we're lifting restrictions and then I need for you to be at the airport at 9 o'clock on this day so we can kick this card off. That's why Amanda Nunes says she is not going to participate unless she have a full count for Felicia Spencer. And I don't blame her, bro, because why, if you're the champ, you're going to risk going in there half qualified to do the job, knowing that your condition isn't there. Knowing that your condition is there. You know you can beat Felicia Spencer, but you don't want to go in there out of shape. The German Soccer Football League, the UFC, will apparently be back on the same day. That would be crazy. Well, Germany is not the US. We operate under totally different government. So if that's the case, okay, cool. What's good, Perky? What's good? We're just talking about UFC and miscellaneous restrictions and stuff like that. Josh said, I seen the Fight Island would be Jeffrey. Man, he ain't getting no love on here. I ain't playing about dude that's up there messing with kids, man. I'm not even gonna do it, bro. We're talking about UFC events that's happening next month. For sure it's gonna happen. I hope, Perky, we need MMA back and need something to watch. We need a lot of things is back. We need the economy back. Before any of this fight, we need the economy back. That's what we need, period. The economy needs to be back up and running so people can start making a living and we can go out the house and feel safe a little bit with resuming back to our regular schedule economy. The economy is essential. You know what I'm saying? The economy is essential for us to basically roam and exist, without being overly stressed. And then when you get overly stressed, people in society, they start doing crazy things. And those crazy things may indeed harm innocent people. People would do anything in order to get what they need. Desperate measures calls for desperate decisions. And that's what definitely happened. You know what I'm saying? When people are desperate, they would do desperate things. They would not even think about it. They would just say, you know what, I'm gonna go out here and do it. It has to be done. I got to get this money, and I don't care how I get it. I got to feed my kids. I got to feed my family. I got to feed myself, whatever, Yeah, I know it's very controversial, and I doubt Dana would even try to pull that off. He and the UFC would get so much hate if they got, man, I'm not even going to touch on that because I don't care if he is dead. What he did and what he's accused of, what he was found guilty of, that's just dirty. That's grimy. And you know what? I don't even think if Dana lowered his standards to do something like that, I don't even think that's the same island, to be honest. I just know people was joking around about it and everything, but I can almost guarantee I don't think that's the same one. Dana been saying this since COVID-19 started without any luck. Dana's trying his best to work on his tactical diversion. That's what Dana White is doing. He's trying to lay out diversion tactics. Because he said it himself, he just don't want a huge amount of people trying to show up at the site where this fight is going to be, and they're not going to be able to get in. But if they're there to take pictures, that's what it's about. Especially, that's what TMZ does. That's what a whole lot of sports media, in general. I'm pretty sure all the mainstream media are trying to find out where the hell this damn fight is just so they can be there when the fighters arrive. Period. And you can have social distancing, if you're media, because you can stand back and record the fighters coming in. That's not a problem. That's easy work. But long as you get the fighters and come back and do an article, that's good. That's what you need. Long as you can have eyes on the fighters for this card during COVID-19, it becomes history. It becomes history. Outside of the UFC media, if you're able to just take some snapshots, some video, cool. That's what I would want. That's what I would want. I ain't gonna lie. That's what I would want. They all accuse Pizzagate. There's a lot of islands out there. Absolutely. Sean O'Malley said he will fight on the card. Sugar Sean O'Malley, man. That's one of my favorite fighters, man. I don't talk too much about him because he's just now getting back in the groove. But he's the perfect example of a fighter who you can walk past in the street and don't think too much about him. You don't know who the fuck he is. Sean O'Malley, man, that dude will fuck you up. He doesn't look like he is what I look for in a typical fighter that has learned that he has strengths and he's been able to excel in the sport, not being the most bulky fighter, but he's been able to expound upon his entry. That entry being what we've seen him doing on The Ultimate Fighter, how tough he was, how much of a sporadic fighter he was, active, risk taker, all about, closing the gap, not afraid to go in there. And, he kind of remind me of Thug Rose Mama Yunus a bit. When she first came on the scene, she was a bit wild, but he's tuned that shit up now. Like when Sean O'Malley was on the scene first, he was like throwing these wild kicks and shit and a bit wild, but yet he had confidence in his striking. You know what I'm saying? That's what I liked about him. He had confidence in his striking, and he wasn't really scared to go in there and leave it all on the line. And that's what Dana White liked about him. Now, man, that dude's a quiet assassin, dog. I like his style. He has a style all his own. It's almost like he's a hippie, but he's a goddamn killer. Sean O'Malley, man, in my opinion, he may potentially, I think, be a world champion, man. Seriously. I like his style. It's a one-on-one with him, period. No one can say that Sean O'Malley got that style for me. Nah, Sugar, he got that style himself. He's a low-key type of dude, but yet he's lethal on the ground. He's lethal on his feet. So I look forward to seeing him continue to grow in the sport, man. He's one of my favorite lower tier fighters. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been active enough to be considered pound for pound best, but contenders on the rise, Sugar Sean. Real talk. Sugar Sean. He has his own swag, everything. O'Malley's a chill dude. You wouldn't expect him to be a fighter. Just a normal dude who loves MMA and wants to be champ one day. Yeah, man, he's a cool cat, man. Sean O'Malley's a cool cat. He has his one-on-one bravado. I like he didn't bite anybody else, but yet, first and foremost, he's improved since Dana White picked him up on the series, the Contender Series. He's improved so much. You know what I'm saying? He's improved so much. At first, I was like, man, this dude's a little bit light. Like he's wild. He's gonna get knocked out. And then he won the fight, and it was exciting. And then, since being in the UFC, man, he's did pretty decent. But he's calm. He's cool. He's tightened it up, man. He's polished his game up. And somehow, some way, it seems like he has some power. You know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck this dude get this power at, man? I didn't want to compare him to Jason Lazan, because Jason, he's very good in jiu-jitsu, but his striking kind of suffered, right? And he had that slim build to him. That's what I kind of get by Sugar Sean O'Malley. He kind of got that same frame, Good jujitsu, but I think his fight, his striking is better. You know what I'm saying? I got to give him his credit. His striking is better than Joe Lozon to me. Not to take that away from Joe. Man, Joe, when he was doing what he did, dude was a problem. But the game caught up to Joe. You know what I'm saying? He probably was running his school. I don't know. But he just didn't evolve as a fighter. Willie has to chill about Kobe Usman. Beat him all day, in my opinion. And Usman has already put a beating, and he's talking about going up to middleweight. Look, the only way you're going to be considered great in a sense in mixed martial arts, being that they have less divisions than boxing, is to move up a division. It's not something that's totally outlandish to consider. Conor McGregor did it. You know what I'm saying? Amanda Nunes did it. DC did it, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So to speak. I can't give Henry Cejudo too much because he's already in a light division. Henry Cejudo, flyweight, bantamweight, okay? But DC, he was fighting in Strikeforce as a heavyweight anyway. He just came in here to do his friend Cain Velasquez justice. So he said, I'm going to fight at light heavyweight. But Tyron Woodley looking to move up. He has to know within himself that's something he needs to do and feel good about it. He may see something nobody else sees. I'm still not sold on Stylebender. I'm not sold on him. But if Tyron Woodley wants to move up and get that work, I don't know, man. I think he should try to rematch Usman, man. I just think he should. If he has a number out there, please stay and rematch Usman. Because we don't know what's going to happen with him and Jorge Masvidal. But I don't know, man. Woodley may see something nobody else see. You know, he may believe he'll do fairly well against Israel Adesanya. I don't know, man. Adesanya is a long striker, a long range striker, man. He know how to use his distance very, very well. And we all know Tyron Woodley don't have the longest reach. And would he be able to get in on that takedown? Styles make fights, man. That's all I can say. Style make fights. That's why Usman and Woodley, they pretty much proved who was the better wrestler. Okay. And the clinch game and everything else that consisted of. But guess what? Moving up, he may see something nobody else does. It may be genius of Tyron Woodley to move up and try to face Adesanya. It may be genius, man. We don't know. Governor of Florida issued an order approving a list of essential business, and they're saying that includes MMA. He's not even ranked. I think that he's already got 500K followers on his Instagram. And just shows how popular he is if he becomes champion one day. He's been one of the faces of MMA in the UFC. Sugar Sean O'Malley, man, future-wise, he has a bright future. He had a serious foot injury that kept him out the sport for a while. I'm talking about something that's crazy that you just don't see people getting, his foot injury, right? So he was out of the sport, allowing that to heal up. Now he's due to come back, and let's see how strong he is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're talking about a fighter that you can like in mixed martial arts? Yeah, Sean O'Malley's that guy. Rematch versus Usman. Yeah, he should wait. Kobe versus Woodley. Usman versus Jorge. Winners fight each other. Simple. Let's do it. I agree with that. I can agree with that. It would be good to see Woodley fight Kobe, and then Jorge fight Usman, and then the winner fight. You know, the winner of Kobe and Woodley fight the champion. Why not? Why not? That's a good situation. That's a good situation. I think Israel picks him apart with kicks and his fast movement. Izzy beats Woodley for me. I would say like this: you have to take this in consideration on how big Darren Till was there, Josh. You have to take consideration on how big Darren Till was and how quickly Tyrone dismantled him and crushed him. You know what I'm saying? You have to take that in consideration that Darren Till also was the bigger guy. It didn't mean anything. Tyrone Woodley is a fast closer, very fast. So you apply that to Israel Adesanya. I'm telling you, man, people are talking. You know, I don't know if you heard, but Tyrone Woodley was down here training. He was down here training, man, with some of the local mixed martial artists is down here in Atlanta. So he knows, you know, people are talking to him, man. People are talking to him. You know what I would like? I would definitely like to, you know, if Douglas Lima could fight Kamaru Usman. That would be good to see if they was cross-thread an organization and have a super fight. I got Douglas Lima all day. I have Douglas Lima all day defeating Kamaru Usman. I have Lima all day. 4-time champion. I have him defeating Usman all day long. But I know that fight would never happen because Dana White is not going to allow Bellator fighter to come over here unless they signed. So we may have to wait on that. Never. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Perky, apparently the UFC have gotten permission to hold an event in Florida and it's booked. They saying the UFC 249 is in Florida. I don't know about all that. That looks like some smoke screens and some colorful flares. You know what I'm saying? That seems like a lot of flares right there, man. Because from what I'm hearing, UFC 249 was canceled. And then you have people on here just up here parading false media. They want so bad for this fight card to happen, man. And it might be a catastrophe, y'all. You know, not once again, I'm not out here to freaking put it all in the dark. But goddamn it, it has all the areas of being a complete catastrophe, y'all. But Woodley should focus on welterweight right now. He shouldn't focus on middleweight. Izzy versus Costa and Kobe versus Woodley next. And Izzy has to focus on fights against Till, Jones, maybe. I mean, yeah. If Dana, after the Izzy fights Costa fight, you know what I'm saying? If Dana White has that on the radar for Izzy to fight Costa, granted, if Costa loses, it's not necessarily saying Costa is going to lose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're not looking at a dominating Izzy. You know, he has some good fights against Whitaker, and Romero fight is just one of the second worst fights I've seen in the UFC, to be honest. The first one was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Darren Till. So I say his best fight with Robert Whitaker, okay? So if you take, he defeat Paulo Costa, and we have a super fight between him and Jones. I think Adesanya, John Jones would be the biggest fight ever in the UFC, ever. If Adesanya and Jones happen in 2021, I truly believe it'll be the biggest grossing, the largest grossing fight ever in the sport. Seriously, I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Because you have two black fighters. You have damn near similar styles. Both have been champion. Okay. Both have been champion in one division, which matches up nicely. And style for style, the attire matches up well. You know what I'm saying? Style for style, the attire matches up well. The bravado, everything links up nice. People are looking at John Jones as the GOAT, but then they're looking at Izzy like, man, can Izzy do it? Can Izzy give John Jones the competition, the resistance that we've been looking for, someone to test Bones Jones? Can Izzy be that guy? And you know what? People believe he is. I'm not saying he's going to beat John Jones. I'm still going for John Jones, but it will be the highest grossing fight ever in mixed martial arts. Hands down. Hands down. If we're back operational and we have full accountability for gatherings, there's no restrictions. John Jones facing Israel Adesanya at light heavyweight would be the largest grossing fight in mixed martial arts history. Don't say I never told you that. Willie versus Maya was terrible as well. If you're talking about a BJJ world champion going in for like 23 or 24 takedowns, it's terrible. I don't think so. I seriously don't, because we're talking about Damian Maya, alias the backpack. You have to give that man credit for being a threat on the ground. You have to take that in consideration. You can't just give him Damian Maya, he's a BJJ world champion, and then say he's light on the ground. No, he was a threat. Tyron Woodley knew he was a threat. Tyron, he wasn't trying to go to the ground and grapple with Damian Maya. He wasn't trying to do that shit. What happened in that bout with Damian Maya? And who was that again? Who was that again? That was fighting Damian Maya and didn't know to take the Tyron Woodley route. Who was that again? Just let me know when you come up with the name, Josh. Who was that guy who should have took the Tyron Woodley route when he faced the backpack? That's why I'm just putting the rebuttal up to what you said. It was a bad fight, because it wasn't, in my opinion. Tyron Woodley had to do what he had to do, negate the takedowns. So to caveat with that, think about the Damian Maya fight that just happened and that opponent that he defeated that should have learned from the Tyron Woodley fight, but he's hard-headed. He's hard-headed. Who was that fighter? Come on, people. Y'all smart MMA fans, man. Who was that fighter that fought Damian Maya and should have applied the Tyron Woodley rule of thumb when stepping in there with a BJJ world champion? Who was that guy? He has nice curly hair. You know what I'm saying? Nice curly hair and shit. Who was that guy, y'all? Wonder Boy don't have curly hair, man. We're talking about who faced Damian Maya after Tyron Woodley and Damian Maya. I could give you another hint, but you're gonna be that's gonna be it. You know, you're gonna nail it on the head if I give you the next hint. I gave you the curly hair. Oh shit, y'all said Ben ass cream. Man, damn, y'all don't have no respect for 5 seconds. Benny Ben. Man, y'all better show that man respect. He lasted 5 seconds against a freaking the front end of a knee and became a part of history, man. You better give that man his respect. Give that man that respect. You know what I'm saying? But you are absolutely right, man. Ben Askren, he did not apply the Tyron Woodley tactics of basically negating the takedown as a wrestler, negating the takedowns. And what happened? He lost. And look, Tyron Woodley is saying, Ben Askren, I gave you the blueprint. All you had to do is watch my fight. It may take you a little bit because Tyron Woodley ended up torn his labrum. It may take you a little bit of energy and cardio, but I showed you the blueprint. And what Ben Askren want to do? He want to grapple. He want to think he's in there freaking rolling and making videos on YouTube. No, bruh. That's why Daniel Cormier said this. He said, man, I tried to tell Ben Askren things and he just don't listen. And he's right. People probably told Ben Askren, don't try to goddamn grapple with Damian Maia. And Damian Maia proved that he is still a lethal ground practitioner. He still proved that shit. And Ben Askren, being who he is, didn't freaking listen. He didn't listen, man. He did not listen. Ben Askren, look, I said the person who fought Tyron Woodley, Damian Maia fought Tyron Woodley. Damian Maia, to caveat off what Josh had mentioned earlier, that he thought Damian Maia and Tyron Woodley fight was boring. And I was explaining to him, I didn't think so, because it was a lot of technical thesis that was going on there with Damian Maia being a BJJ world champion. And when he fought Ben Askren, it proved that the tactics that Tyron Woodley used, his strategy, worked out great, because Damian Maia went in there and defeated Ben Askren. You should have stayed your ass on your feet, move away, create space, bring Damian back up, and then work your hands. But no, Ben Askren is hard-headed. He's hard-headed, y'all. Ben Askren, the greatest welterweight of all time. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. The striking in the Maia versus Ben fight was terrible, very sloppy. But we all know both guys didn't want to take it to the ground because they're both good, but the striking was terrible. Yeah, I agree. Diego Sanchez versus Maia next. Apparently, I see both guys want to fight each other. Yeah, I see that, man. We just don't know what's going on with Diego Sanchez right now. You know, he lost that fight when he's saying he was in a whole different headspace. He lost seriously. So for him to come back in there and fight Maia, it'll be a good fight. I'm not sure how many people tune into it, but it'll be a good fight. Seriously, it'll be a good fight. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna be looking forward to it, but it'll be a good fight. I have mad respect for the Nightmare. Seriously, I have mad respect for the Nightmare, but he's just been going through some things, leaving his school that he's been with for quite some time. I mean that, you know, he actually was there from the roots when they started to grow, you know, but I don't know what's going on with him. Hope he get this together, man. Kobe Covington did not destroy Damian Maia. I don't want to do a screenshot. I'm glad you can't put screenshots on YouTube. That's one plus that YouTube's had. I commend them for that, because Kobe Covington's face looked destroyed. You know, and we're talking about a BJJ world champion who has pretty decent hands, but once again, Covington had the wrong game plan when he fought Damian Maia. The absolute wrong game plan. Diego Sanchez should retire, and I like the guy. Him and his coach are crazy, and I think his guru coach is brainwashing him for something weird about his guru coach. You know, martial arts is weird. You have a lot of people that's weird at the top of the food chain of martial arts in general. But when you start bringing in head shrinks, people to mess with you mentally and to put you in a different headspace to believe that you can levitate on air and walk on water and freaking, you know, just do things that's not mortally mortally possible, then that's when it becomes a bit, eccentric to a point. And Diego Sanchez has always been a different type of dude, but now he's coming up as being an eccentric type of human being. Cat that no one knows too much about. You know what I'm saying? No one really knows about this dude. No one really understands why. I'm not sure. Can y'all hear me? The screen froze up a little bit. The stream froze up. Okay, it's back. The weather haven't been all that nice over here. But hey, I'm gonna close this out, people, because the weather's not nice, and I'm not trying to go in and out, whatever the case going on. But yeah, hey, be sure to drop back in, y'all. Appreciate y'all for stopping through. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Always support. I salute you. For those who tuned in tonight, as always, we will be back again. Salute to you and be safe.